Swallow, Sheila. Hey, hey. Okay. All right, beautiful people. All right, beautiful people. Happy Monday, Betwalo, Salubona, Sieme. All right, y'all. We're starting in the book of Numbers. I want to hurry up and get through it so we can get a good portion of the Legends of the Jews read today, so we can finish up this ceremony on what happened while they was receiving the Torah. So let's get started with the Shema. All right. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the God of our fathers, has promised us, in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our God, He is one God. And you shall love Yahuwah your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah our God, for our good always, that He might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah our God, as He has commanded us. Remember, beautiful people, remember the sign. We shall bind them as a sign upon our hand, and as frontlets between our eyes, and on our house and our gates. The action of the hand. The hand represents action, so we bind them upon our hand. And as frontlets between our eyes, it represents our thoughts. And remember how when we talked about not even faking and doing things for play, like Yahuwah tell us not to do something, like eating and drinking blood, all those forbidden things. We ain't even supposed to play like we're doing it, right? Because what we think about, even if we imagine doing these things, right? If we think about it, we're going to end up doing it. Remember, because why? The thoughts drive the actions, right? Okay. I can't reiterate that enough. Okay. Grand Rising, Auntie. Okay, y'all. Let's pull this up here. Numbers. Chapter 1. Here we go, everybody. Okay, Numbers chapter 1. A year after Israel's departure from Egypt, Yahuwah spoke to Moses in the tabernacle in the wilderness of Sinai. On the first day of the second month of that year, he said, from the whole community of Israel, record the names of all the warriors by their clans and their families. List all the men 20 years old or older who were able to go to war. You and Aaron must register the troops, and you will be assisted by one family leader from each tribe. These are the tribes and the names of the leaders who will assist you. Now, y'all stay with me here. People tend to zone out when we start getting into genealogies and names and counting and stuff, but stick with me. Reuben, tribe of Reuben, leader Eleazar, son of Shedor. Tribe of Simeon, Shelumiel, son of Zuri Shadid. Excuse me, because I'm screwing up some of these names. Forgive me. Okay. Tribe of Simeon, Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. The tribe of Judah, Nashon, son of Abinadab. The tribe of Issachar, Nathaniel, son of Zuar. The tribe of Zebulun, Eliab, son of Helon. The tribe of Ephraim, son of Joseph, Elishama, son of Ammihud. The tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, Gamaliel, son of Pedazer. Tribe of Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gideoni. The tribe of Dan, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. The tribe of Asher, Pagiel, son of Akran. The tribe of Gad, Elisaph, son of Duel. The tribe of Naphtali, Ahira, son of Enan. These are the chosen leaders of the community, the leaders of their ancestral tribe, the heads of the clans of Israel. So Moses called together these chosen leaders, and they assembled the whole community of Israel on that very day. All the people were registered according to their ancestry by their clans and families. The men of Israel who were 20 years old or older were listed one by one, just as Yahuwah had commanded Moses. So Moses recorded their names in the wilderness of Sinai. This is the number of men 20 years old or older who were able to go to war, as their names were listed in the records of their clans and families. Of the tribe of Reuben, Jacob's oldest son, 46,500. The tribe of Simeon, 59,300. The tribe of Gad, 46,650. Of the tribe of Judah, 74,600. The tribe of Issachar, 54,400. The tribe of Zebulun, 57,400. The tribe of Ephraim, son of Joseph, 40,500. The tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, 32,200. The tribe of Benjamin, 35,400. The tribe of Dan, 62,700. The tribe of Asher, 41,500. The tribe of Naphtali, 53,400. These were the men registered by Moses and Aaron, and the 12 leaders of Israel, all listed according to their ancestral descent. They were registered by families. All the men of Israel who were 20 years old or older and able to go to war. The total number was 603,550. But this total did not include the Levites. For Yahuwah had said to Moses, "Do not include the tribe of Levi in the registration. Do not count them with the rest of the Israelites. Put the Levites in charge of the tabernacle of the covenant, along with all its furnishings and equipment. They must carry the tabernacle and all its furnishings as you travel, and they must take care of it and camp around it. Whenever it is time for the tabernacle to move, the Levites will take it down. And when it is time to stop, they will set it up again. But any unauthorized person who goes too near the tabernacle must be put to death. Each tribe of Israel will camp in a designated area with its own family banner. But the Levites will camp around the tabernacle of the covenant to protect the community of Israel from Yahuwah's anger. The Levites are responsible to stand guard around the tabernacle. So the Israelites did everything just as Yahuwah had commanded Moses. Numbers chapter 2. Shalom, shalom, Mom. Okay. Then Yahuwah gave these instructions to Moses and Aaron. When the Israelites set up camp, each tribe will be assigned its own area. The tribal divisions will camp beneath their family banners on all four sides of the tabernacle, but at some distance from it. The divisions of Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun are to camp towards the sunrise on the east side of the tabernacle beneath their family banners. These are the names of the tribes, their leaders, and the numbers of their registered troops. Judah, the leader, Nashon, son of Amminadab, 74,600. The tribe of Issachar, their leader, Nathaniel, son of Zuar, 54,400. The tribe of Zelion, their leader, Eliab, the son of Helon, 57,400. So the total of all the troops on Judah's side of the camp is 186,400. These three tribes are to lead the way whenever the Israelites travel to a new campsite. The divisions of Reuben, Simeon, and Gad are to camp on the south side of the tabernacle beneath their family banners. These are the names of the tribes, their leaders, and the numbers of their registered troops. The tribe of Reuben, their leader, Eliezer, the son of Shedeur, the number of their troops, 46,500. The tribe of Simeon, their leader, Shelumiel, the son of Jurishadai, their number of troops, 59,300. The tribe of Gad, their leader, Eliasaph, the son of Duel, the number of their troops, 45,650. So the total of all the troops on Reuben's side of the camp is 151,450. These three tribes will be second in line whenever the Israelites travel. Then the tabernacle, carried by the Levites, will set out from the middle of the camp. All the tribes are to travel in the same order that they camp, each in position under the appropriate family banner. The divisions of Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin are to camp on the west side of the tabernacle beneath their family banners. These are the names of the tribes, their leaders, and the numbers of their registered troops. The tribe of Ephraim, their leader, Elishama, son of Ammihud, the number of their troops, 40,500. The tribe of Manasseh, their leader, Gamaliel, son of Pedhazar, the number of their troops, 32,200. The tribe of Benjamin, their leader, Abidan, the son of Gideoni, the number of their troops, 35,400. So the number of all the troops on Ephraim's side of the camp is 108,100. These three tribes will be third in the line whenever the Israelites travel. The divisions of Dan, Asher, and Naphtali are to camp on the north side of the tabernacle beneath their family banners. These are the names of the tribes, their leaders, and the number of their registered troops. The tribe of Dan, their leader, Ahazer, son of Ammishaddai, the number of their troops, 62,700. The tribe of Asher, Pagiel, son of Akran, the number of their troops, 41,500. The tribe of Naphtali, their leader, Ahira, the son of Enan, the number of their troops, 53,400. So the total of all the troops on Dan's side of the camp is 157,600. These three tribes will be last, marching under their banners whenever the Israelites travel. In summary, the troop of Israel listed by their families total 603,550. But as Yahuwah had commanded, the Levites were not included in this registration. So the people of Israel did everything as Yahuwah had commanded Moses. Each clan and family set up camp and marched under their banners exactly as Yahuwah had instructed them. So we see, Yahuwah always refers to his people as his great army, right? His host. And this is just counting all the men who were going to war. We're not counting the women and the children and those who are no longer able to serve in the active army, right? In his active defensive forces, the elderly community. That's a lot of people. Okay, last chapter for the day in Numbers chapter 3 before we hop over to the legends of the Jews, the Levites appointed for service. This is the family line of Aaron and Moses, as it was recorded when Yahuwah spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. The names of Aaron's sons are Nadab, the oldest, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These sons of Aaron were anointed and ordained to minister as priests, but Nadab and Abihu, died in Yahuwah's presence in the wilderness of Sinai when they burned before Yahuwah the wrong kind of fire, different than he had commanded. Since they had no sons, this left only Eleazar and Ithamar to serve as priests with their father Aaron. Then Yahuwah said to Moses, "Call forward the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron, the priest, to serve as his assistants. They will serve Aaron and the whole community, performing their sacred duties in and around the tabernacle. They will also maintain all the furnishings of the sacred tent, serving in the tabernacle on behalf of all the Israelites. Assign the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They have been given from among all the people of Israel to serve as their assistants. Appoint Aaron and his sons to carry out the duties of the priesthood. But any unauthorized person who goes too near the sanctuary must be put to death." And Yahuwah said to Moses, "Look, I have chosen the Levites from among the Israelites to serve as substitutes for all the firstborn sons of the people of Israel. The Levites belong to me, for all the firstborn males of mine. On the day I struck down all the firstborn sons of the Egyptians, I set apart for myself all the firstborn in Israel, both of people and of animals. They are mine. I am Yahuwah." How many of y'all are firstborns? You ain't really got to answer. I'm going to keep on reading. I have broken the matrix. I am counted as a firstborn. Yahuwah spoke again to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai. He said, "Record the names of the members of the tribe of Levi by their families and clans. List every male who was 1 month old or older." So Moses listed them just as Yahuwah had commanded. Levi had 3 sons whose names were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The clans descended from Gershon were named after 2 of his descendants, Libni and Shimei. The clans descended from Kohath were named after 4 of his descendants, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The clans descended from Merari were named after 2 of his descendants, Mali and Mushi. These were the Levite clans listed according to their family groups. The descendants of Gershon were composed of the clans descended from Libni and Shimei. There were 7,500 males 1 month old or younger among these Gershonite clans. They were also assigned to the area to the west of the tabernacle for their camp. The leader of the Gershonite clans was Eliasaph, son of Lael. These 2 clans were responsible for the care of the tabernacle, including the sacred tent with its layers of coverings, the curtains at its entrance, the curtains of the courtyard that surrounded the tabernacle and altar, the curtain at the courtyard entrance, the ropes, and all the equipment related to their use. The descendants of Kohath were composed of the clans descended from Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. There were 8,600 males 1 month old or older among these Kohathite clans. They were responsible for the care of the sanctuary, and they were assigned to the area south of the tabernacle for their camp. The leader of the Kohathite clans was Elizaphan, son of Uzziel. These 4 clans were responsible for the care of the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altars, the various articles used in the sanctuary, the inner curtain, and all the equipment related to their use. Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, was chief administrator over all the Levites with special responsibility for the oversight of the sanctuary. The descendants of Merari were composed of the clans descended from Mali and Mushi. There were 6,200 males 1 month old or older among these Merarite clans. They were assigned the area north of the tabernacle for their camp. The leader of the Merarite clans was Zuriel, son of Abihail. These 2 clans were responsible for the care of the frames supporting the tabernacle, the crossbars, the pillars, the bases, and all the equipment related to their use. They were also responsible for the posts of the courtyard and all their bases, pegs and ropes. The area in front of the tabernacle in the east toward the sunrise was reserved for the tents of Moses and of Aaron and his sons, who had the final responsibility for the sanctuary on the behalf of all the people of Israel. Anyone other than a priest or Levite who went too near the sanctuary was to be put to death. When Moses and Aaron counted the Levite clans at Yahuwah's command, the total was 22,000 males 1 month old or older. Then Yahuwah said to Moses, "Now count all the firstborn sons in Israel who are 1 month old or older, and make a list of their names. The Levites must be reserved for me as substitutes for the firstborn sons of Israel. I am Yahuwah. And the Levites' livestock must be reserved for me as substitute for the firstborn livestock of the whole nation of Israel." So Moses counted the firstborn sons of the people, just as Yahuwah had commanded. The number of the firstborn sons who were 1 month old or older was 22,273. Then Yahuwah said to Moses, "Take the Levites as substitutes for the firstborn sons of the people, and take the livestock of the Levites as substitutes for the firstborn livestock of the people of Israel. The Levites belong to me. I am Yahuwah. There are 273 more firstborn sons of Israel than there are Levites. To redeem these extra firstborn sons, collect 5 pieces of silver for each of them, each piece weighing the same as a sanctuary shekel, which equals 20 gerahs. Give the silver to Aaron and his sons as the redemption price for the extra firstborn sons." So Moses collected the silver for redeeming the firstborn sons of Israel, who exceeded the number of Levites. He collected 1,365 pieces of silver on behalf of these firstborn sons of Israel, each piece weighing the same as the sanctuary shekel. And Moses gave the silver for the redemption to Aaron and his sons, just as Yahuwah had commanded. All right, beautiful people. That's Wabu Shayla, great rising. All right, beautiful people. All right, so let's pick up with this ceremony where we left off at yesterday. We're on page 272. If it's the smaller book, it's volume 3, and the section is entitled "The Other Commandments Revealed on Sinai." As I was listening over to this yesterday, I was thinking about how, when you look at it, how you had all the witnesses from heaven show up, even Yahuwah opened the 7 heavens and the 7 earths. Everybody was present. Current generations, past generations, and the future generations to come, right? Because we know, and apparently all of us here today, everybody here alive today, apparently we all were present as well. Because remember, when we learned about the souls and how they are created and where they are reserved, we were, I believe it was the 7th heaven where we were before Yahuwah actually assigned us parents and sent us here in this realm, right? So all of us, every single one of us, all generations that ever was and that ever will be, were present at this ceremony. Even though we have fallen asleep, the celestial light has been taken from us, and we don't quite remember, we were all present, right? And everyone got their portion of the revelation at Sinai during this time. So in your generation, the portion of what you are to do during your generation where you walk this earth, you are to fulfill that. Now, if you don't wake up during your sojourn here in the earth and fulfill your portion of this revelation that was given to us at Mount Sinai, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But what I do know, listen, now when I go back through here and think about this, I think about a dream that I had not too long ago. I shared it with a couple people in my family. I was in this race, right? And you know how you're running, or say military, you know how you're training, you're doing PT, and you have your petty officers or your sergeants there. They're standing with their clipboard, you know, while you're exercising, while you're preparing. They got their pen and they're marking off your time, or your coach, whatever, or your trainer, whatever. You're running this race, right? So in my dream, there was like a coach, but I knew in the dream they looked like coaches or trainers, but I knew I was aware in the dream that they were angels and they were recording, right? So I was in this race, and it was a race. It wasn't just a race I was in, but there were a lot of people in this race, right? I could see some faces. Some faces were blurry. I could definitely see a lot of my family members there, right? And I could see people I went to high school with, like all through my life. I could see all these people, and there was a lot of people that I didn't know, right? And so everybody was running this race, and the trainers were standing off to the side with their clipboards. And what I began to notice as I'm moving, and I'm just moving at a steady pace. I ain't trying to beat nobody. I'm just moving at the pace that I know is comfortable for me, that where I'm not going to give out, that I was aware of, right? But I began to notice that even at this, it seems like to me, compared to some of the other runners, it seemed like I was running at a snail's pace, right? And for a moment, it kind of, I'm like, oh, then I just realized I had to focus on me, because they were probably more well trained, had more time practicing than I did. So I realized I couldn't look at them and just focus on my pace where I was good, to where I know I would make it to each stop, right? Okay, and so this particular stop that we had gotten to, that this particular one, there was this safe, right? And the safe was unlocked and it was open, but inside the safe were files for everyone who was running this race, right? And as you cross, like that, it wasn't a finish line, but at this stop, when you got to this stop, you got your orders from this safe. Whatever was in this file, you were able to take out, right? And so when I got here, the angel was standing there with his clipboard. He said, go ahead and get your orders. And so I said, okay, thank you. And I walked over there, and it was sitting on the ground. And I got down on my knees and I looked. He said, I looked, and I noticed names of people that I personally knew who had not been here yet to get their orders. Like their orders were still in this safe. And I'm like, and I looked at the angel. He said, I'll let you look. He said, but only take yours. You can look at the other ones. He said, but only take yours. I'm like, okay. So as I began to take them, like I probably shouldn't have spent as much time there looking through the orders, but the angel said I could look, right? So I took that time to look at the orders of the people that I knew, right? And so I was pulling the files and I was looking, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm turning, looking, I'm like, where are they at? Where are they at? And I'm looking around, and I'm like, where are they at? So I close that file, put it back, pull out the next one. I'm looking through the file, looking at the orders and stuff. I'm looking around. I'm like, where are you? Where are you at? I know I seen y'all. Where y'all? Why haven't y'all gotten here yet? And I'm thinking that's why haven't y'all gotten here yet? And I knew how slow I was moving, right? But I made sure I never came to a stop. I just made sure I kept a pace where I could keep my breath, where I could make it to each of the stops, right? But even my snail's pace, I beat the ones that were even faster than me, right? And so I'm like, where are you? And I put it back, and the angel reiterated to me. He said, you can look, but don't take anybody's but yours. Because I had the thought, maybe I can go back and get them and tell them and maybe give them their orders. And that's when I knew, when I had that thought within me, I was thinking, I wonder if I can. I didn't even say it out my mouth. I just kind of thought it within myself. I wonder if I can go back and find them and give them their orders, right? But that's when the angel looked at me again. He said, you can look. He said, but you can only take what's yours. Only take the orders in your file. I'm like, okay. And so, and I looked at a few more, and I sat there for a few minutes, and I was like on my knees. You know how you get down on your knees or whatever, like you about to pray or whatever. But anyway, that's how I was on the ground in like prayer formation, looking at the files. I had already pulled mine out and I had it right here, but I was going through looking at everybody else's. And after I got done looking at the files, I just began to weep, because even the time that I spent there looking at the files, none of them had showed up, right? And so I was staying there, and I was like on my knees, like just weeping. I'm sorry, y'all, because I understand what this dream means, right? Sorry. Ooh, that caught me off guard. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put myself together. Okay. So, but then I also began to notice that there were people who had come and had gotten their orders, but they were standing around like they were standing around the water cooler chit chat, like leaning up against the tree and stuff, just like holding their orders in their hand, just having conversation. Like after you grab your orders, there's another leg of the race. You got to keep going. Like there were stops where here you got it. Okay, now you got to go do what these orders say, right? And so people just, I'm looking at them like, I didn't say anything, but I looked at them like, why are y'all still standing here? So finally, after I got done with my weeping and everything, and there was one name that I remember when I woke up. Like I could see the people in my dream and I knew who they were. But when I woke up, I forgot all the other names except for one name, one girl that I went to high school with, right? That's the only name that I was allowed to remember waking up from this dream. And I haven't talked to her, but here's what's crazy. After I had that dream, I noticed the girl I went to high school with, the name that I remember, she popped in a couple to one of the morning videos. Not one. I say it's maybe like probably about 4 videos after I had that dream that she popped into, right? And I'm like, well, that's very, very interesting. I had this dream, and I don't talk to her. Like we're friends on Facebook. We was friends in high school and everything, but we didn't kind of keep touch and talk like some of the other ones did, but we was friends on Facebook and like pictures or whatever, but we hadn't really talked for real. But I thought that was strange, but then I know it really wasn't coincidence. So I know it's something about that and about her particular orders, right? And I'm like, But I was like, okay, Father. Now I know I ain't reached out and told nobody this, so I was like, that's okay. You working something behind the scenes, but I still, from then, I still haven't even talked to her personally through text, on the phone, or messaging, or nothing about this dream and the orders. And although I remember her name, I don't remember exactly what was in her orders either. So I didn't really feel the need to reach out to her and tell her either. But I'm watching and I'm paying attention to what's going on. So I wanted to share that to say that when I was reading through this, that dream came back to me. I'm like, wow, we were all present here, even though we don't remember, because it tells us, when we come through the womb, that light is put out. Who puts that light out, and that light is not going to be returned to us until it says the future world, right? Until after he comes back, so anything we get, and that's how we remember. That's how we realize, instances of deja vu. It's like, oh, wait a minute. And it feels like, I feel like we did this before. I feel like I did this, deja vu. That's when I realized those instances of deja vu is when Yahuwah is allowing glimpses of things that we knew or that we know about our life to kind of come back to us. Now, some people are able to bring that to full fruition and walk into it. I haven't been able to do that yet. I'm still kind of moving through stuff, right? I'm like, okay, Father. So anytime I have, since I've understood that I had one moment of deja vu, I'm like, oh, Father, I know what it is. Okay, what? Okay, give me all the pieces to that. So daily I'm paying attention to stuff, right? Okay, so I just wanted to say that just a quick recap from yesterday about the ceremonies. Actually, it's set up, if you look at what's going on, wedding ceremonies, that was the whole point of saying is wedding ceremonies are fashioned after this, right? And all with Yahuwah being the groom and the bride being the people of Israel showing up, and all the witnesses of heaven and earth, past generations, future generations, those in heaven and those who were in the depths of the earth and Sheol, he called them all up. And he even announced, he said, all these are my witnesses, that all the other nations rejected me and you alone accepted me, accepted my Torah. He said, and you will be my special possession. Like, you are mine and I am yours. Just like what a groom would do to his beloved bride, right? And all the witnesses are there to witness this moment. That's what's going on here. And I'm just like, okay. Okay, long intro, but I wanted to share that as I was thinking about some of this stuff. So another thing, guys, if y'all got marching orders from the most holy for whatever you're supposed to be doing here while you transverse this earth, I would adjure you, please go get them orders or find out what you're supposed to be doing. Everyone has received their portion of life, or the portion of the revelation that was given there, that they are to do while they walk here on the earth. Okay, that's all I want to say. Okay. The other commandments revealed on Mount Sinai. After Israel had accepted the first commandment with a yea, Yahuwah said, "As you have now acknowledged me as your sovereign, I can now give you commands. Thou shalt not acknowledge the gods of other nations as such, for they bring no advantage to those who adore them. This thou shalt not do while I exist. I have given you my Torah in order to lend sovereignty to you." He's like, all that I have, I'm giving to you. All that I have, your husband, I'm giving to you, my bride. Everything I got becomes yours, right? I have given you my Torah in order to lend sovereignty to you. Hence, you must not kindle my wrath by breaking my covenant through idolatry, right? Same principle with husband and wife. You break the covenant with adultery. Adultery is idolatry, y'all. I have given you my Torah in order to lend sovereignty to you. Hence, you must not kindle my wrath by breaking my covenant through idolatry. You shall not worship dead idols, but him who kills and restores to life, and in whose hand are all living things. Do not learn the works of other nations, for their works are vanity. I, the eternal God, I, the eternal, your God, rule over zeal and am not ruled by it. I wait until the fourth generation to visit punishment. But those who love me or fear me, I will reward even to the thousandth generation. He said, look, I'm so merciful. I ain't gonna get you right now. I'm gonna give you at least 4 generations to get it right. He said, I'm not even gonna punish until the fourth generation. He said, but for all those who love me, for everyone who loves me, I'm going to push out my love for 1,000 generations. So my prayer is, Father, may your love extend from me 1,000 generations, and from each of my children 1,000 generations, and my children's children 1,000 generations, and my children's children 1,000 generations. May it never end. May it never end. May all our bloodline be righteous before you, and cause your grace to extend for 1,000 generations from each generation, so it never ends. Whew, that's my prayer. When Moses heard these words, according to which Yahuwah would visit upon the descendants of the sins of their fathers, only if the consecutive generations. Look, hold on. When Moses heard these words, according to which Yahuwah would visit upon the descendants the sins of their fathers, only if the consecutive generations were one after another sinful, he cast himself upon the ground and thanked Yahuwah for he knew it never occurred among Israel that 3 consecutive generations were sinful. Ooh. The third commandment read, O my people of Israel, none of you shall call the name of Yahuwah in vain, for he who swears falsely by my name, Yahuwah shall not, I'm sorry, for he who swears falsely by my name, by the name of Yahuwah, shall not go unpunished on the great judgment day. Swearing falsely has terrible consequences, not only for those who do it, but it endangers all the world. For when Yahuwah created the world, he laid over the abyss a shard on which is engraved the ineffable name, that the abyss may not burst forth and destroy the world. But as often as one swears falsely in Yahuwah's name, the letters of the ineffable name fly away, and there is nothing to restrain the abyss. And as there is nothing then to restrain the abyss, the waters burst forth from it to destroy the world. This would surely come to pass if Yahuwah did not send the angel Ya'asriel who has charge of the 70 pencils to engrave anew the ineffable name on the shard. Like, he never gets a break. Like, he don't leave his post. He constantly, once one letter disappear, he writing another one. Like, he's staying in his post. How we know? Because we still here. The world ain't destroyed. This angel probably like, I wonder if he has got a relief to relieve him from his watch. Like, he get a lunch break, he get a 15-minute break. What? I'm like, I'm telling you, right? Whew.
Y'all don't want to stand post for 15 minutes.
I know, right? Whew. Father, thank you for faithful watch post standers.
Yeah, I know, right? Better said.
Yahuwah said then to Israel, if you accept my Torah and observe my laws, I will give you for all eternity a thing most precious that I have in my possession. And what, replied Israel, is that precious thing that thou wilt give us if we obey thy Torah? Yahuwah, the future world. Israel, but even in this world, should we have a foretaste of that order? Yahuwah, the Sabbath will give you this foretaste. Be mindful of the Sabbath on the seventh day of creation of the world. For when the world was created, the seventh day came before Yahuwah and said to him, all that thou hast created is in couples. Why not I? Whereupon Yahuwah, the Sabbath day. The day.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
He said, everybody has a couple but me. That's okay. All that thou hast created is in couples. Why not I? Whereupon Yahuwah replied, the community of Israel shall be thy spouse. Oh, Father, forgive us for every day we not present at the Sabbath. Yo. All that thou hast created is in couples. Why not I? Whereupon Yahuwah replied, the community of Israel shall be thy spouse. Of this promise that Yahuwah had made to the 70 day. I'm sorry. Hold on, did it say 70? Oh, that's supposed to say 7. Like, I'm telling you, there's typos here. You got to catch them. Of this promise that Yahuwah made to the 7th day, he reminded the people on Mount Sinai when he gave them the 4th commandment to keep the Sabbath holy. When the nations of the earth heard the first commandment, they said, all right, love you too, baby. All right, be safe. There is no king that does not like to see himself acknowledged as sovereign, and just so Yahuwah does desire his people to pledge unto him their allegiance. At the 2nd commandment, they said, oh, wait, I went back up. Their allegiance. Okay. At the 2nd commandment, they said, no king suffers a king beside himself, nor does the God of Israel. At the 3rd commandment, they said, is there a king that would like to have people swear false oaths by his name? At the 4th commandment, they said, no king dislikes to see his birthday celebrated. But when the people heard the 5th commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, they said, according to our laws, if a man enrolls himself as a servant of the king, he thereby disowns his parents. Yahuwah, however, makes it a duty to honor father and mother. Truly, for this honor is due him. It was with these words that the 5th commandment was emphasized. Honor thy parents to whom thou owest existence, as thou honorest me. Honor the body that bore thee, and the breast that gave thee suck. Maintain thy parents, for thy parents took part in thy creation. For man owes his existence to Yahuwah, his father, and to his mother, in that he receives from each of his parents 5 of the parts of his body, and 10 from Yahuwah. Oh, listen to this. I think we read this before too. It's in the front, y'all. I think when we was reading about Adam. I think so. Okay, let me read this again. I'm going to read this sentence. Let me just go back up. Pay attention, y'all. It was with these words that the 5th commandment was emphasized. Honor thy parents to whom thou owest whom thou owest existence, as thou honorest me. Honor the body that bore thee, and the breast that gave thee suck. Maintain thy parents, for thy parents took part in thy creation. For man owes his existence to Yahuwah, to his father and to his mother, and that he receives from each of his parents 5 parts of his body, and 10 from Yahuwah. The bones, the veins, the nails, the brain, and the white of the eye come from the Father. The mother the mother gives him skin, flesh, blood, hair, and the pupil of the eye. Yahuwah gives him the following: breath, soul, light of countenance, sight, hearing, speech, touch, sense, insight, and understanding. When a human being dishonors his parents, Yahuwah says, I consider it as if I had dwelled among men and they had honored me. But if people do not honor their parents, Yahuwah says, it is good that I do not dwell among men, or they would have treated me superciliously too. Yahuwah not only commanded to love and fear parents as himself, but in some respects, he places the honor due to parents even higher than the honor due to him. The man is only then obliged to support the poor or to perform certain religious ceremonies if he has the wherewithal. But it is the duty of each one even to go begging at men's doors if he cannot otherwise maintain his parents. Ooh, my goodness. The 6th commandment: O my people Israel, be no slayers of men. Do not associate with murderers and shun their companionship, that your children may not learn the craft of murder. As a penalty for deeds of murder, Yahuwah will send a devastating war over mankind. These are 2 divisions in Sheol, an inner and an outer, and the latter are all those who were slain before their time. There they stay until the course of time predestined them is run, and every time a murder has been committed, Yahuwah says, who has slain this person and has forced me to keep him in outer Sheol, so that I must appear unmerciful to have removed him from the earth before his time. On the judgment day, the slain will appear before Yahuwah and will implore him, O Lord of the world, thou hast formed me, thou hast developed me, thou hast been gracious unto me while I was in the womb, so that I left it unharmed. Thou in thy great mercy hast provided for me, O Lord of all the worlds. Grant me satisfaction from this villain that knew no pity for me. Then Yahuwah's wrath will be kindled against the murderer. Into Gehenna will he throw him and damn him for all eternity, while the slain will see the satisfaction given him and be glad. The 7th commandment says, O my people Israel, be not adulterers, nor the accomplices or companions of adulterers, that your children after you may not be adulterers. Commit no unchaste deeds with your hands, feet, eyes, or ears, for as a punishment thereof, the plague will come over the world. Now, don't we know that to be the truth, right? This world is driven by sexual depravity in every way, with their hands, their feet, their eyes, their ears, everything. This is the 8th commandment: be not thief, nor the accomplice or companion of thieves, that your children may not become thieves. As a penalty for robbery and theft, famine will come upon the world. Yahuwah may forgive idolatry, but never theft, and he is always ready to listen to the complaints against forgers and robbers. Yes, he is. And also for people, remember we talked about this? Even employers, right? Yahuwah said, you better be sure you pay your people on time. He said, because if they come crying out to me, I'm going to listen to them and I'm coming right after you. Why? Because you would be considered a robber and a thief. You are not to withhold wages rightfully due to people who work for you, right? As a penalty for robbery and theft, famine will come upon the world. Yahuwah may forgive idolatry, but never theft, and he is always ready to listen to complaints against forgers and robbers. The 9th commandment reads, O my people of Israel, bear not false witness against your companions, for punishment for this Clouds will scatter so that there may be no rain, and famine will ensue owing to drought. Yahuwah is particularly severe with a false witness because falsehood is the one quality that Yahuwah did not create, but is something that men themselves produce. Mm. The content of the 10th commandment is, O my people Israel, covet not the possessions of your neighbor, for owing to this sin will the government take their possessions from the people, so that even the wealthiest will become poor and will have to go into exile. The 10th commandment is directed against a sin that sometimes leads to trespassing all of the 10 commandments. If a man covets his neighbor's wife and commits adultery, he neglects the first commandment: I am the eternal, thy God. For he commits his crime in the dark and think that no one sees him, not even Yahuwah, whose eyes whose eyes flow over all the world and see good as well as evil. He oversteps the second commandment: Thou shalt not have strange gods besides me. I am a jealous God who is wroth against faithlessness, whether toward me or toward men. He breaks the third commandment. And listen, all from breaking his 10th commandment causes you to break all the rest of them. And he going, let me stop right there. I'm gonna just start it over just in case you weren't paying attention to the first few sentences. Let's go back up. The 10th commandment, right? Listen, y'all know what the 10th commandment, if you don't know what it is, look it up, right? My kids can rattle it off like that. The content of the 10th commandment is, O my people Israel, covet not the possessions of your neighbors, for owing to this sin will the government take their possessions from the people, so that even the wealthiest will become poor and will have to go into exile. The 10th commandment is directed against a sin that sometimes leads to a trespassing of all the 10 commandments. If a man covets his neighbor's wife and commits adultery, he neglects the first commandment: I am the eternal, thy God. For he commits his crime in the dark and think that none sees him, not even Yahuwah, whose eyes flow over all the world and see good as well as evil. He oversteps the second commandment: Thou shalt not have strange gods besides me. I am a jealous God who is wroth against faithlessness, whether toward me or toward men. He breaks the third commandment: Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah in vain, for he swears he has not committed adultery, but he did so. He is the cause of the profanation of the Sabbath, the consecration of the world, of which Yahuwah commands in the fourth commandment, because his illegal relation, he generates descendants who will perform priestly duties in the temple on the Sabbath, which being bastards have no right to do. The fifth commandment, I just thought that needed a moment of silence. The fifth commandment will be broken by the children of the adulterer, who will honor as a father a strange man and will not even know their true father. He breaks the sixth commandment: Thou shalt not kill. If he is surprised by the rightful husband, for every time a man goes to a strange woman, he does so with the consciousness that this may lead to his death or the death of his neighbor. The trespassing of the seventh commandment: Thou shalt not commit adultery, is the direct outcome of a forbidden coveting. The eighth commandment: Thou shalt not steal, is broken by the adulterer, for he steals another man's fountain of happiness. The ninth commandment: Thou shalt not bear false witness, is broken by the adulterous woman who pretends that the fruit of her criminal relations is the child of her husband. Oh, how often have we seen this? And then we see them show up on Maury. You are not the father. Mm-hmm. Father help us. In this way, the breaking of the 10th commandment has not only led to all the other sins, but has also the evil effect that the deceived husband leaves his whole property to one who is not his son, so that the adulterer robs him of his possessions as well as his wife. What is saying Proverbs? That he who commits adultery is foolish, because you don't realize that even through this act, everything that you are contemplating doing, there is a possibility that you can lose it all, not just today, but for all future generations from this act that you are contemplating doing. And then when you do it, you start that ball rolling. Like you done already got the ball rolling by not protecting this, right? By thinking about it. Because nobody commits adultery without first thinking about it, right? Like adultery is always a premeditated act. When you're talking about raping somebody, no, adultery is always something that you consciously make a decision to do. Just like Yahuwah said, serving other gods is adultery, idolatry. You got to make a decision to do some of these things, right? And if you grew up in a place where it's like a common thing, people think it's okay. Now you got generations just doing it and thinking it's the right thing to do. Okay, where we at? Okay, the unity of the Ten Commandments. Let's go ahead and read this next section. And if we've done it, if anybody done it, y'all better repent and get it together and ask Yahuwah to save all that is yours, right? Keep it together. The Ten Commandments are so closely interwoven that the breaking of one leads to the breaking of another. But there is a particularly strong bond of union between the first five commandments, which are written on one table, and the last five, which are written on the other table. The first commandment, I am Yahuwah thy God, corresponds to the sixth, thou shalt not kill, for the murderer slays the image of Yahuwah. The second, thou shalt have no strange gods before me, corresponds to the seventh, thou shalt not commit adultery. For conjugal faithfulness is for conjugal faithlessness is as grave a sin as idolatry, which is faithlessness to Yahuwah. The third commandment, thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah in vain, corresponds to the eighth, thou shalt not steal, for theft leads to false oath. Ooh, how often have we heard that? The old church mothers and the old folk used to say, if you lie, you will steal. If you steal, you will lie. They didn't even know they knew something. Inwardly, they knew something. Yahuwah said himself, right? Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah in vain. The third commandment, thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy God in vain, corresponds to the eighth. Thou shalt not steal, for theft leads to false oath. Did you steal it? No, I ain't steal it, but you did. The fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, corresponds to the ninth. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. For he who bears false witness against his neighbor commits as grave a sin as if he had borne false witness against Yahuwah, saying that he had not created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, the Sabbath. The fifth commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, corresponds to the 10th. Covet not thy neighbor's wife. For one who indulges in lust produces children who will not honor their true father, but will consider a stranger their father. Stepdaddy. Just in case y'all didn't know, that the Ten Commandments, which Yahuwah first revealed on Mount Sinai, correspond in their character to the 10 words which he had made use at the creation of the world. The first commandment, I am Yahuwah thy God, corresponds to the first word at creation, let there be light. For Yahuwah is the eternal light. The second commandment, thou shalt have no strange gods before me, corresponds to the second world. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. For Yahuwah said, choose between me and the idols, between me, the fountain of living waters, and the idols, the stagnant waters. The third commandment, thou shalt not take the name of thy God in vain, corresponds to the word, let the waters be gathered together. For as little water as can be gathered in a cracked vessel, so can a man maintain his possession which he has obtained through false oaths. The fourth commandment, remember to keep the Sabbath day holy, corresponds to the word, let the earth bring forth grass. For he who truly observes the Sabbath will receive good things from Yahuwah without having to labor for them, just as the earth produces grass that need not be sown. For at the creation of man, it was Yahuwah's intention that he be free from sin, immortal, and capable of supporting himself by the products of the soil without toil. The fifth commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, corresponds to the word, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven. For Yahuwah said to man, I gave thee two lights, thy father and thy mother. Treat them with care. The sixth commandment, thou shalt not kill, corresponds to the word, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature. For Yahuwah said, be not like the fish, among whom the great swallow the small. The seventh commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery, corresponds to the word, let the earth bring forth living creatures after its kind. For Yahuwah said, I chose for thee a spouse, abide with her. The eighth commandment, thou shalt not steal, corresponds to the word, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, for none, said Yahuwah, should touch his neighbor's goods, but only that which grows free as the grass, which is the common property of all. The ninth commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, corresponds to the word, let us make man in our image. Thou, like thy neighbor, art made in my image. Hence, bear not false witness against thy neighbor. The 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet the wife of thy neighbor, corresponds to the 10th word of creation. It is not good for man to be alone. For Yahuwah said, I created thee a spouse, and let not one among ye covet his neighbor's wife. Okay, y'all. We're gonna pause here for today, because now it's gonna go into what happens after they receive the 10 commandments. So I think this is a good spot to stop today. But if you don't want to stop and you got the book, go ahead and keep reading, y'all. So I hope y'all enjoyed the reading today. That was the Legends of the Jews. And we started here on page 272 and we ended on 275, and we read Numbers 1, 2, and 3. It is February the 1st. Did I give y'all a date? I don't remember saying this. I don't remember saying this at the beginning. I'm so sorry, y'all. It is February the 1st, 2021, day 66 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 735. And I could have said, I just don't remember saying it. But I just don't remember saying it, because I would have said we're the new month, but I didn't. I don't remember. Maybe I did. I don't know. I gotta go back and watch it. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, let's do the blessing, y'all. Because I know I had started talking about something. Then I got the rolling, but I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't know. Hold on. Pull up the blessing here. Okay, I'll pull up the blessing. I'm gonna go back and double check for questions, y'all. Okay, remember the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember the first 21 verses of Numbers chapter 6 is the Nazirite vow. And Yahuwah says a man or a woman can take a Nazirite vow, right? Take the Nazirite vow. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, may Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. And we're actually going to read this twice tomorrow, because This chapter, Numbers chapter 6, is a part of the reading tomorrow as we read 4, 5, and 6. All right, y'all. So, hey, double blessing works for me, right? Okay. Shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. No questions. I'll just double check, and I always check at the end just to make sure I didn't miss anybody's comment or question. Maybe they was asking something about the reading. But anyway, we done for today, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. It's Monday. Gotta get to work. All right, love y'all, and I see y'all bright and early in the morning. 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, through the week it's 7:15, and on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we'll do 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, y'all. I see y'all in the morning.